I wanted to comment a little bit uh, about the future of NATO, following all the discussions and meetings in Munich and what's happening in Europe right now and Trump administration. So I actually think, as it is, NATO is done. It ran its course. It did what it needed to do during the Cold War. After that, for years we tried to find some purpose with it, but I think we arrived to the point where NATO is done, mainly because United States doesn't need it anymore. United States does not consider Russia or its main adversary anymore. Russia is too weak to be it. China has taken its place, and so the need for NATO as an alliance, the need for support of European countries is not there anymore. It's not the main focus for the United States. There are other reasons. NATO has become a crutch for European Union. Instead of having its own defense and army, EU countries have learned to rely heavily on NATO as their defense strategy. Different countries at different levels, but overall that's a problem. And so today, with the conflict in Ukraine, Europe is unable by itself to handle the situation in a way that would give it political power. And that's why they're not sitting at the table negotiating right now. They're scrambling around and trying to figure out what to do. It's their own fault. Additionally, I don't think NATO would kick in Article 5 in case of Russian invasion of Baltic states. And I think it will be, it's basically 50% for Eastern Europe and maybe Scandinavian countries as well that recently joined. But overall, United States would most likely not follow the Article 5 fully. More possibly it will put some political pressure and so on, but it would not be categorical as the Article 5 states. So that's, I think, it's kind of the main issue. NATO works as a deterrent only if Article 5 is followed without any questions. Otherwise, it will be questioned, and the whole thing is much weaker than it used to be. So, what's the future? I think NATO is going to dissolve itself one way or another. NATO will, either US will leave NATO altogether, if it can find a way to make it work for them. Right now it doesn't. And European Union will be defenseless, so they'll need to figure out their own way of creating defense and for their own territory. So I think they need, so either US leaves NATO and then European countries need to run it by itself without American help, or they need to create their own alliance that would be similar to NATO in nature, but cover Europe and be managed by Europeans, so they would respond to their own needs as the policy demands. So there is this thing called CSDP. It's some sort of a alliance that exists in Europe, but from what I've read about it, it does very little. It seems to be more of a political civilian thing that manages aid to countries, European countries that have been at war in the past, and manages peacekeeping and whatnot, but it's not necessarily a force that you could deploy in Eastern Ukraine. At least I don't see that being the case. So I don't know how this will proceed. I also don't see quite well how would the peace be enforced. If there is one based on different countries providing their armies and communication issues and all of that, it seems like it will be a total mess. So I don't see how they could do it. They may try. Could be rotation of some sort. I don't know. We'll have to see. So, but there's another problem behind this. Europe does not have money to have an army. Europe has operated on very low military budgets. It's a known issue, being protected by NATO, and so today, when it would need to muster some sort of response, it's not in position to do so. The economy in Europe is broken. It's overly regulated, so they need to deregulate, they need to lower the taxes, they need to focus on things that matter, forget all the distractions, all the little things, fights that they have, and aggressively cut spending, and spending that is not essential to security, and increase spending on security. Control immigration, which, if not controlled, will lead Europe into a lot of discontent. It's just not manageable. So those are the things they need to do. But I don't think it's going to save Ukraine. Right now, they don't have a seat at the table, and they won't get one, because this negotiation is not about peace in Ukraine. This is about an arrangement that Trump is making with Putin in order to bring Putin into its orbit of influence and help him counter China with it. Ukraine is just a victim in the whole situation, in big politics, all politics. It's sad, but that's I believe what it is, and Europe is in no position to do anything. It remains that whatever is agreed upon by Trump and Putin, Zelensky does not need to abide by it. He's not part of negotiation. He can be bullied into it, but he doesn't need to abide by it. Europe could possibly, in some ways, maintain the war in Ukraine, but I don't think the maintenance as can be done with the money that they currently have can lead to a change in situation. It's just going to be a long grinding that will take a long time to get anywhere. So I don't know if it's worth for Ukraine to do it, unless Europe can commit in some serious way to the defense. I don't think the war is sustainable. And so, what are the other options? I don't know. I don't see an easy way out. Trump will very likely lift sanctions on Russia as a result of the discussions. So Russia will be able to trade again and will get in a better shape financially. So we'll be able to prosecute the war for much longer. So the only way to counter this would be to spend a lot more money from the Europeans and maybe put some boots on the ground. But I don't see that as happening. So, anyways, my thoughts. Please comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you disagree. And thank you very much. Have a great day.